Hey guys, it's Paul and Seth for the Learn From Us podcast. We are here today with Chris Jespersen. He is the owner of Storybox Cinema, of the Madison venue, a wedding venue and event venue in Cleveland, and the photo video.
Chapter 1
photo video. He's a young guy, 27. We talk about business, entrepreneurship, growing 3 businesses at once, and doing it well. And so join us on the Learn From Us podcast on YouTube, on all the podcast outlets where we talk to Chris Jespersen. Thanks, guys. Welcome to the podcast. As always, I'm here with Paul. Paul, how are you, my dear friend?
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Look at us.
This is our first in-person podcast in 6-7 weeks.
Such a long time. Between the two of us, we have a guest today. This is Chris. Say hi, Chris. This is Chris Jespersen of Cleveland.
Hello.
Well, you're not really from Cleveland, right?
No. I mean, I live here
Where
now.
are you from?
The Seattle area, Bellingham, Washington.
I used to live in Puget Sound on Mercer Island.
Yeah, okay. I'm from Olympia.
Did you just make that story up or what?
How would I know Mercer Island?
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't know.
specific
I mean,
one.
I went to West Mercer Elementary for 4 or 5 months in
I'll be darned.
89 and 90.
now why does my voice sound so sexy, yet Paul's?
That's just my natural nasally high voice.
Chris is the owner of Storybox Cinema, a cinematography and videography, just weddings or events?
Events, yeah.
Storybox Cinema out of Cleveland. You travel the world photographing incredible places. And then recently, in the past 3 years, you have single-handedly rebuilt and built the Madison venue. The Madison venue in Cleveland. It's an event space. It's a wedding space. It's incredible. Beth and I did a podcast with you yesterday, my wife, for our wedding photography business, highlighting the event or highlighting the venue, and it was incredible. And you just had so many cool things to say. I said, you got to meet Paul.
Yeah.
So tell the listeners a little
How
bit.
old are you?
27.
Do you see?
So how did you find yourself in Cleveland?
My wife got a full ride for a PhD. She's very smart. And we moved out to Cleveland 3 years ago. She had
Where's
a full
she
ride.
from?
We started dating in high school.
Whoa.
Met her in middle school, my only girlfriend.
1 for 1.
Yeah. So she had
Do you
she
like
got a
her?
full ride. Yes, I do. Love her. But she got a full ride, and I didn't know that could happen.
For grad school.
I
To
had
where? Case?
case for a PhD. And we said, okay, we're going to Cleveland.
You said she's studying the migratory patterns of Puerto Rican Americans.
Yeah, in their old age, how they move back and
You're
forth.
joking.
No, this is real.
For real?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. What is that scent you're wearing?
Isn't it divine?
I
I
do
smelled
like
it
it.
yesterday.
Tom Ford.
Oh, look at you, big shot. Tom Ford.
Well, the point is he's got to fly. So with the Storybox Cinema, it's a luxury brand.
Oh, so you got to be luxury.
You have to.
I guess.
So he, Chris has proclaimed he's done a great job
Has proclaimed.
at sort of leaving ego at the door, networking with amazing people, and in turn getting amazing events around the world. So tell Paul a little bit about Storybox Cinema before we get into the venue.
Sure. Yeah. We were talking a little bit before, but, we service clients all over the world. I mean, really all over the world. I think last year we were in, or within the past year and a half, I mean, Lebanon, Greece, Italy, Mexico.
Ironically, guys, he's been to the same state that Manzanillo's in, and we found this out, and I about shrieked like a little girl.
You did. Yeah, he said yesterday, oh, I've been to Mexico. Where at? He's always going to say Acapulco.
Yeah.
Not Acapulco.
Acapulco? Not to be confused with the brother city Al Capono.
Listen to me. My parents in 1978 did their honeymoon in Acapulco. Now,
Where is that?
well, here's the point.
You never heard of Acapulco?
I don't know.
When you're a young child and your mother says Acapulco,
He sticks with you.
that's all I
It's
know.
about 10 hours south of Manzanillo.
Okay.
Colima.
So Paul's 2
Driving.
Mexico homes are in Colima, the state of Colima, the city of Manzanillo.
Yes.
And Chris yesterday said, I've been to Colima. And like you, I almost shrieked. And so he was showing us some footage, which we can probably put in the podcast about some of the amazing things you've done. But didn't you just get back from Thailand or something?
That was my last trip. Yeah.
What
Thailand.
was going on out there?
That was a week-long wedding. Maybe a little
Whoa.
bit more. But we started in Bangkok for kind of like the
Well, Paul just giggles. He's stuck as a 5th grader, but keep going.
Because when you said Thailand, I was going to say, hey, what's the capital of Thailand? You know that joke?
Yes.
You say that, yeah, you know it. You say bang, and then you hit the person's balls.
I remember that playing baseball in middle school. I did not like that.
Keep going.
I learned that
Chris.
3 years ago, and I'm 38.
No, there was that was my last wedding. It was started in Bangkok for like the welcome party.
Paul.
We started in
Just tell him Thailand.
Thailand, then we went to, where was the next place? Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai, and then we ended in Phuket.
So can I tell you a funny story about Phuket?
Yeah, he's hot. He's hot.
Oh, am I hot? I'm sorry. There's
Well,
a funny
when
story about
you
Phuket.
chime in like, so. Go ahead, Paul.
So, my girlfriend's best friend, who she now works for, her husband, we were all four at dinner one day, and I was trying to be my usual funny, charming self, and I said something about Phuket came up, but I didn't say Phuket. Nobody said the word, so I said like, oh yeah, like that one city, fuck it. And he goes,
That's what it reads like.
Then he goes, it's pronounced Phuket. I'm like, oh, got it. Like, I was like, it was funny because I was like, oh, yeah, it's called fuck it.
It's exactly what it looks like.
But it's
Yes.
that's exactly
Oh my
it.
gosh, yeah.
So that was the funny story.
How many
behind
wedding videos have you done?
it. Paul, should I get off the podcast? 'Cause I'm
We just got to get off the Thailand topic in general. Cocks and fucks. And we just put an exclamation point on the Apple iTunes little E there. So tell us about like how many weddings have you done, and how did you transfer from being the standard normal wedding videographer to someone who gets these luxury events with a luxury price tag?
Yeah, probably done 30 or 40 events now. Started 3 years ago, and I didn't want to do weddings. Like
Why not?
Because a lot of my friends, a lot of my coworkers at the time, I was in cinematography, and I was working for a company for an in-house, like the production company. So everyone there is really into making films and movies and documentaries, and so it's not cool to be a wedding videographer when you're a DP or a director of photography. I think I just wanted to follow what everyone else was doing, and thought, well, I'm going to be a commercial director. I don't know. I didn't really know.
Sure.
I didn't like movies. I didn't want to film movies. I
What do
studied.
you mean you didn't like movies?
I didn't want to film. I never was interested in filming large scale movies. Or not like I had the chance. I didn't have the chance. I turned it down.
Scorsese
5
called
times.
you, you're
I
like,
said, no, I'm not interested.
Thanks, Marty. Keep going.
I was just never that for my career. I was never interested in doing that. It felt boring to me. It felt really long. Felt like it was going to take a year and a half, 2 years to film like an hour and a half long movie. And
That's really how long it takes.
yeah. And that sounded boring to me.
I've taken Paul on somewhat of a movie session when we try and film some properties that he owns, and he gets bored after about 90 minutes.
90 seconds. I'm like, why is this not done yet?
So the whole time, Chris, he's like, "Why are we 5 minutes late?" And I'm just like, on movies, they literally bring a trailer, and you just go sleep in it for 6 hours till they're ready for you.
It
keep
sounds
going.
boring to me. And
It sounds very boring.
so I studied journalism in college,
And where'd you go?
Western Washington University in Bellingham, Washington.
Oh, nice.
There we go. So was really interested in documentaries. I did a wedding for a couple that I knew. I just thought, yeah, I might as well do one. They were beautiful. Their wedding was beautiful, and I was like, this is going to be great for my reel. Like all the details were there, and I was like, I'm not going to do weddings, but this will look nice in my cinematography reel. Sure enough, I did one, and here we are. A little bit later, I think really quickly I realized, hey, there is another level of weddings out there beyond what I know and how my wedding was, and my friends and my circle of people. There's a whole nother level of weddings out there that people are spending
7 figures on.
Yes. And I thought I should do those. It really was. It felt like Happy Gilmore when he's like, "Oh, you should just hit the ball in the hole." And I was like, "Oh, I should
go to really expensive
I should
weddings.
do expensive weddings." And that's pretty much
It's
how
a good
it started.
analogy, by the way. I like the
you do
analogy.
that. Yeah.
And I think so. When I first started, I moved to Cleveland, and I remember being from Seattle and moving out to Cleveland. I remember thinking, I'm doing weddings. I can travel. Oh, and so I went to the only spot that I knew that I could travel because I lived in Seattle, which was Hawaii. So I just started reaching out to people in Hawaii, got connected to a planner, and
When you said reaching out, what do you mean?
Instagram. I just started looking up Hawaii weddings and looking at the Instagram.
And what would you say to them?
I forget. I probably can look. Hey, hello. I'd love to come out and film a wedding for you. I had no clue what I was doing. One of these people, my friend Lori in Maui, said, "Hey, I love your work. Are you coming to this party in New York?" I said, I don't know what that is. And I got in and I emailed them a bunch of times till I got invited. I went to the party, met the lady who wanted to meet me. And she said, "You're 10 years old. I thought you were way older." And I was like, "No, I'm not." that old. I'm very young. And then she ended up bringing me out to Maui to film a styled shoot or a fashion shoot at this hotel called the Four Seasons Lanai. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know anything about it. I thought it was like the Four Seasons shared. I didn't know. Marriott? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled up. It's on a private little island, Lanai. And it's the most insane resort in the world. It's like the resort is the island. And it was insane. I think that's when my eyes kind of got opened up to like, there really is a whole nother.
Kids, I want everybody to hear that he got hired to do this after doing one wedding and self-professed. I had no idea what I was doing. Just went on Instagram and said, hey, I want to come shoot your weddings for you.
Why do you love that?
Because so many great stories in business start with, I had no idea what I was doing, so I just reached out and said, hey, what's going on? I mean, how many times do I preach? Just pick up the fucking phone and just say, hi, my name is Seth. I would like to do this for you. No. Okay. When I wanted to buy a sports team, I literally picked the phone and said, let me call a bunch of sports people and say, hey, I want to buy a sports team. First guy said, more power to you. You're not big enough for me. Second guy said, all right, I'll help you. You know what I mean? These things just happen. If you ever said, how do you buy a sports team? People would be like, I don't even know how to get started. I started with Google. How do I buy a sports team? He started with, let me go on Instagram and see places that I like. Oh, cool. Can I shoot your wedding, please?
Now, I was completely lost at 27. So I was like telling him in our conversations yesterday, the idea of like the guts it sort of takes to like do this type of thing.
What guts? He had no idea what he was doing. That's the point.
That's
the
the guts,
point.
I mean.
It's both. I thought I was doing something really cool.
Oh, good.
Or I did.
You were, by the way.
Sure. But I also feel like
sure?
that, like not knowing what I would.
The ignorance is bliss right there is a good thing. It's like, you don't know. You have no clue. That's why kids, that's why I was talking about, not to get too far off topic, but that's why I always hate it when people don't like it when kids ask questions, because they don't know any different between should I be doing this or should I not be doing this? It's just go do it. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just great. I just looked them up on Instagram. Oh, cool. What'd you say to them? Hi, can I shoot your wedding? Did it work? Yes. All right. Sounds great.
So,
what do you charge on average for your weddings?
Most of our weddings now are going to be multi-day events, and so we're starting around 18 or 20,000.
Hey kids, everybody out there is married right now. Did you even spend $1,800 or $2,000 on your wedding photography? No. And he starts at 10 times higher than that, from having literally done no weddings beforehand.
Here's the story.
Of a guy named
Tell
Chris.
Paul some amazing events that you've done just to show off a smidge, and don't be shy.
I'm trying to think. I mean, some of the coolest weddings we've done was this Thailand wedding. I mean, that was insane.
Don't go back to that, please.
I know, but it was a 3-city to get flown all over and to have, at the Amman resorts and the Four Seasons and just these incredible.
Do they ask you to sign non-disclosures and stuff?
I won't be talking about it if I have, but yeah, some people
That's
do.
what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, are some of them saying like,
a lot of them are, yeah. NDAs for sure.
Like, what does that cover? Like, you can't say who was at the wedding. You can't.
It depends. Each one's kind of negotiable, but either you're not talking about it, you're not. You can't submit it. You can't post it. Maybe they're gonna post about it, and you just have to reshare what they've posted, and that's kind of it. So,
what percentage of them ask you to sign non-disclosure agreements?
Probably 10%.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah, of my clients right now.
Oh, I would have thought more than that.
I think when you get more into celebrities,
Have you done celebrities?
Yeah,
Which you cannot discuss.
I filmed Cardi B's daughter's birthday. That was cool.
Cardi B's daughter's birthday.
I told you he'd light up with this.
I love Cardi B.
Yeah, I'll show a video of me dancing with them.
What? With whom? Cardi B?
I was filming with them,
Dancing with them.
wearing a polo shirt.
Talk
How'd
about
you get into Cardi B's wedding? I mean, daughter's birthday.
I got a call 2 days before. I said, "Are you free on Saturday?" I said, "Sure, I'll fly there."
See, this is a yes guy.
Yeah, you don't say no.
Right.
Can I ask you what they charge? What you charge for that?
That one was, I forget actually at the moment.
Was it over or under the 20,000 mark?
Under.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 days from the you had.
That's
nothing
one of
else
those
going
where it
on?
was like, whatever.
Here's
I'll
what
be there.
yeah.
Yeah.
How big was the party?
Maybe 300 people. It was a pretty crazy party. It was the night in New York when all the lights went out. Like Manhattan lost power to 70,000
really?
people for the first time, I think, in 60 years. So that was it was nuts. It was a crazy night. Just
What a
So
wild.
why did they call you 2 days before? Did they lose their photographer or their videographer?
I think a lot of these.
Or they wait to the last second on purpose.
I think a lot of I don't really know. I just think a lot of these high-profile people, celebrities and stuff, the planner might get a call a week before the party and say, we'd like to have a party this week.
Oh, gotcha.
I think they're pretty busy, and I think people overestimate how planned out a lot of these things are
I've
from
seen
the client's point of view.
in weddings too, is they get to a point where I've had enough. I got to call a planner, and now they get these late calls. It can happen for sure. So
I think when your life is parties, I mean, for a celebrity specifically, I think it's not that big of a deal.
So why did you tell Paul about the venue that you have now in Cleveland and how you got, that's a long story, how you partnered with someone to get this building. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I have a business partner out in the Seattle area. He was helping me with figuring out, hey, we should do weddings. And I was like, that's okay, sounds good. And we started doing that together. I started traveling all over the world and getting to see all these cool venues. And then my mind started spinning, just getting to see the places. Really was, I hated shooting in a lot of places. A lot of places look nice, but I was telling you, like, shooting in dungeons a lot of the times. For specifically, it was getting ready shots of the bride or groom. And maybe they're getting ready in just this dark dungeony room. And I was like, this sucks. Like, we can do better. I can do better. We can find a really cool room. And so traveling all over, seeing how venues were
done poorly.
Yeah. Like, it was great. A lot of venues do things against the law or without the right permits or without the right egress for exits. And I was like, man, if I can do it legally and do that and go above and beyond and make it something that I would like to film, and I think we can be successful. I mean, I saw weddings from friends that had been ruined by the venues that just didn't show up or didn't have it planned out and whatever. I mean, it blew my mind. So I thought, I think we can do something a little bit better here. I mean, if we just follow the rules and then add in the expertise that we have and just thinking through, I think the big thing is that a lot of venues, and we're not talking about hotels, obviously they're thought through, but I think most venues are a lot of times an afterthought. Someone owns a building or someone owns a piece of property or has a farm or has an extra part to a building that they already had and said, oh, let's have events there. So that's not what we did. We went out looking with the intention of a venue. So we looked at probably 40 buildings in Cleveland before we found where we are at now. And I remember walking in and saying, oh my gosh, this is it. So that's kind of the backstory.
It's like an old brass.
Did you buy it?
My business partner did.
Oh, wow.
Talk about your relationship with this guy. I bet Paul would want to hear this. So it's like, anyway, they bought a building. The building was 20,000 square feet.
Yep.
Wow.
Enormous.
What'd you pay for it?
600,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And what'd you put into it?
Another 800,000.
Oh, wow.
That much?
Yeah, I know. See, that's the thing. You walk into the building and people are like, I have people talk, what'd you put into this? 50 grand? I'm like, what?
50 grand?
No,
I was expecting him to say like $500,000 to $1 million.
Well, if you look at it,
Because to buy a building for 600,000, that's 20,000 square feet. It can't be in great condition. You have to put a lot of money into it. Plus,
there's a lot of things that people don't see. It's the HVAC systems,
yeah.
the new electrical, the new plumbing, the new bathrooms are so expensive. I had no idea. And because it was such a big building, we legally had to have 14 bathrooms.
I almost said 18 to be sarcastic.
yeah.
I literally almost said 18 bathrooms to be sarcastic.
Well, it's one of these old warehouses, that, like you said, was
It's called
like
the Madison?
100 years old, the Madison venue. Yeah, and there's no visible rust. You painted and redid almost everything, all the rafters, the beams, the floor has this cool epoxy. I didn't know you put that much into it.
That stuff's expensive. I didn't know we were going to put that much into it either. That's something I learned afterwards. I remember when I first started it, one of our friends here said, when are you going to open? I said, in 5 months we'll be open. And she said, it's going to take twice the time and twice the money. I was like, no, it's not. And then sure enough,
Yeah.
Sounds like software
a year
development.
later.
How many? He's building.
Wait, did Baker get married there?
He did his engagement photos there.
Oh, wow.
That's another one where I got a call the day of, said, what are you doing right now? Nothing. Can Baker come through? Sure.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys charge for that?
No.
How many weddings have you had there?
Let's think. I think we had 40 last year. This year we have 60.
Talk about the other events that go on in this place.
Fundraisers, galas. We've had rap videos, music videos. We've had...
Really?
What else? I mean...
So what'd you guys charge Baker to just come in there and take pictures?
We didn't.
Oh, zero.
Yeah.
In exchange for him to promote it or something like that?
It's just a call that I made that was, it was a call that I made to not charge, which was, hey, I got a call that day. Hey, can Baker come shoot his engagement photos here? We're a new venue at that point, 7 months in. Yeah, absolutely, you can.
But did you get some publicity for that?
They posted it on Instagram.
And they mentioned the Madison?
Yeah.
What about the Cavs? They had their whole.
You know, and I'm looking at that. Sorry, and I'm looking at that. A lot of these things with, I get to make the decision of, hey, was this? Let's assume they're never going to tag us or post about us or talk about us. Is it still worth it for me? Yeah, because I know I could take the video.
Yeah.
I took video of him and them.
But do you discuss that ahead of time, saying, listen, guys, no charge, but in exchange, I want to be able to do this, this, and this?
With them specifically, no. That was okay, we'll be there in 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Great. And
listen, I love the idea.
One of my planner friends who was working with them said, "Can we use it?" I said, "Sure." "Can I film it and use that footage?" "Sure." Then that's all I needed. I wanted that.
Oh, so he did say that.
I asked the planner. Yeah.
Oh, that's all you need.
Talk about the Cavs event. You were telling me a little bit about it, and I love Paul. Paul loves the Cavs more than life, and he'd love to hear about.
Well, once we won the championship, it's like this is a very soothing time in my life.
Yeah,
yeah. We had the whole Cavs organization through for their meet the team or season ticket holder event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was really fun. They had the whole team, the president, everyone there, and they just did it up really big. They made it all New Orleans style, and it was crazy. It's fun to work on those big events with high profile people, just because it just makes it fun. They have there.
And what do you charge them for the night? Because they have to be there longer than a night, right?
Right. So we start at it all depends per day or per weekend. I think but for a normal weeknight, it's gonna start at $3,500.
Oh, okay.
And that's just the space.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have alcohol. We have our liquor license there, and but we don't do any of the design. So my idea was that we have this turnkey place, or not turnkey. I can just open the door and let people in. They get to do what they want. So we're not designing. We're not setting up. The only thing we have is chairs and tables. That comes included. So we'll set that up, but we don't do any linens. We can, but
you got to charge for that.
Right. We're trying not to design in anything like that.
How has the transformation been from a single business owner to a now two business owner? How's the partnership with this guy?
What is your arrangement with them?
Yeah.
I'm the owner. He's a silent partner.
So do you own part of the building? You personally?
No, I don't.
Okay. Now, how many nights a year?
But I own majority of the whole company.
Okay. How many nights a year are you guys booking events?
Right now we have about 60 events on the books.
For this year?
Yeah.
All right.
So good venues do 60. Better is 80. Like on average, because we only have so many. Our big days are weekends, and then really good is 100. So what we're working on now is midweek, filling it up with.
How are you working on that?
At the moment, not a lot because of the COVID, but typically is we're working for, oh my gosh, what am I thinking here? So we do weddings and corporate clients is midweek stuff that we're working on. So, and we're trying to listen and figure out, we're just trying to hear what people need to make it for corporate events. What can we add in? How, that's why we've got tables and chairs, and we have linens or pipe and drape, not linens, and we have lights. And so trying to have the basics available so when you walk in, you're not overwhelmed. Because sometimes for probably you and me and maybe you'd walk in and say, oh, I know what I can do to this space. Well, not everyone is in the event industry and can see parties and what you can do, even if it is easy. So we're working on trying to add those things in that will make it easier. So when they walk in, they say, well, what about that? Oh, we have the lights.
Mm-hmm. Easy. So if you do 80 events, let's say you do 80 events at 3,500, you're basically at 300,000.
That's minimum.
Oh.
Yeah. More is going to be on Saturdays, 5,500.
So let's say the average is 4,500 or 5,000.
The average sale is probably going to be more around 10 because liquor license. So we do all the bar.
Oh.
Yeah. 10, 15, 12.
That includes the alcohol sales?
Yeah.
What's your cost in the alcohol?
You
got a liquor license, huh?
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear that too.
There we go.
Yeah. So we'll have a 400-person event. I was like, how am I making it? And when we got the liquor license, I said, this is crazy. This is doubling what we're making at least. How was I making it the first year? And I was like, I wasn't. Oh my gosh. So before I started this, I called all the venues around Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, and then just all over the country, and just venues that were similar to mine, or venues that look similar to mine, brick, kind of industrial, and just called all of them. Said, hey, I'm starting up a venue. You have a venue. How are you? Hi. Great. Okay, I'm doing good. What would you never do again, and what would you for sure do again? The majority of the people who had caterers that they started catering, they said, I wouldn't do catering. If I would do it all over again, I'd have the venue and I'd have the liquor license, and everything else is up to the client. So that sounded pretty good to me. I don't want to run a catering company. I don't even want to run
You can say it.
the bar because I'm not.
But it's lucrative enough.
Yes. So we hire bartenders that know. We hire a service that comes in and does our bartending.
Bartenza?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
They did my parties.
Yeah. They're great. So,
Yeah.
I'm not interested in training up staff and how to make,
It's kind of funny. I was like, let me say if it's that one. I was their like 10th client ever. She had just started and they did a great job. We loved them.
Yeah. So they do all of our
My
weddings.
30th birthday party.
All of our events.
I'm glad to hear they're still in business.
Yeah. So that's after calling everyone, that seemed like the two things that were the least headache. I don't want to be making food, or we don't have to deal with. We're on the lowest level for the health department of like a food license. We just have to have a hot plate, so we're not cooking food. We're not having to deal with anything.
I think that's a smart move. Yeah, cooking food it'd be a pain in the butt. So does anybody ever blame? No, they wouldn't blame you because they're hiring their own caterers.
They can. But
the guests probably blame you.
Yeah.
But if the food sucks, just make an announcement. Hey, everybody.
It wasn't
Before
us.
we go, it was the bride and groom who fucked this whole thing up. It was not me.
We've had
Just a full announcement on a loudspeaker.
Take our business cards. We're at the front.
It's crazy. It's that's a hard part. That's the difficult part about having a venue, is you realize really quickly. I wanted to be a venue with no rules. You can come in and do whatever you want.
No rules?
And now we have a lot of rules.
What are the rules?
There's just a lot of things. Hey, you have to have a licensed caterer. We've had people bring in their parents or their uncle who's before we had our liquor license, we had someone bring in a family member who's a really good caterer. And I'm sure they were. And I don't know who the client was or who they were, but they did the bar and they didn't bring any juice or mixers. And so everyone was just drinking straight liquor, and they didn't have cups. They weren't taking off they weren't clearing the tables. It was just, so we have to make so everyone at that wedding is now, wow, the Madison sucks. So you have to make sure that the vendors you're working with are good, trustworthy, and are really they're an extension of our brand. So when they're coming into our house, they're our brand. They have to make sure that they're.
Now, do you have a list of ones you prefer?
Yeah.
Listen, Paul, besides the cups and linens, what is it like being a business owner like this, so young?
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, by the way, I was fine with that. I still like that conversation. Seth, stay in your lane.
Well, I know. I'm just thinking like, I own a couple businesses, and I turn to Paul for every major life decision I have. And he's very good at keeping
Except
me
for that shirt.
And keeping me in line.
I like the shirt.
I know you do.
Keeping me in line with like, just like day to day. How was that transition, being like a cinematographer and now?
How many employees do you guys have?
All contractors.
Oh, okay. How many contractors do you deal with on a very regular basis?
3 to 4.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay,
yeah.
good.
I mean, really, for an event, we have one person. Bartenza's there, so they're doing their thing. They know exactly where everything is. They know the drinks, orders for the night. They know what to make, and then we just have one person on site, and we have a Cleveland police officer who then is there. So besides that, we don't have anyone, because we're not. We're there on the venue's behalf. We're not a wedding planner. We're not making sure that you're walking down the aisle on time. We're not making sure that.
So much more relaxing.
It is nice. It's still stressful.
I imagine so.
How was it transitioning? It was super difficult, and it still is.
Yeah.
I'm still wrapping my...
Like, what makes it super difficult?
It's just bigger. You're dealing with bigger things. You're dealing with bigger numbers. You're dealing with a real building. For Storybox, I work out of my house. It's just me and my camera and my editing and the people I work with and contract for, shooting. And I guess you could say it's similar, but we have a lot of overhead, paying rent on this thing every month. There's heating. There's just so many things that...
How do you keep up with all that bullshit?
I've learned quite a bit in the past 3 years.
Like what?
Just the insurance and the contracts and legal stuff and...
Is your wife active with you?
No.
I wanted you two to meet because...
I mean, she's a part of it, but she's doing her PhD thing.
I sort of asked him, like, wouldn't you need some sort of, like, business consultant or at least...
Seems like he's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
We all use consulting. We have a consultant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like you're doing... I mean, listen, I've never seen your numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well or not well he's doing.
Yeah.
When he first told me, I'm like, 3,500, I immediately did. I'm like, how does that even make money then? And then you're like, okay, add the alcohol in there.
We'll do events with 300-400 people. Alcohol bills can be anywhere from really $5,000 up to $10,000, $15,000.
Just for the alcohol. And what's the cost on that? 20%?
You would never get into like an event.
I don't have a desire to because, our business is different now in the sense of what we're trying to grow to.
But you have your hand in different companies.
Yeah, but remember, the companies that I spend my most time on right now are the ones that I sit there and say, can we build this at $20 million a year? If the answer is no, we don't want to do it. It's not any other reason than, plus it allows me to hyper focus. And yeah, time is like, the other thing is I want to do something that's going to add to the bottom line that makes it worth my time.
What do you think a venue could do revenue?
Well, I just did them. I mean, at 15,000 an event for 80.
80?
At 80 is 1.2. It's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, is the building paid for or do you have a mortgage on it?
We're just paying rent on it every month.
To your partner?
Yeah. Okay.
So he gets his good return on his investment. Good for him. Good for you. How old is this partner? You don't know? Ballpark.
39?
Oh, my age. Our age.
I thought you were saying he was. I was assuming he was a little older. Maybe some guy who just had some more money and.
I'm 40. I don't know.
I love that. I thought he was older. Maybe he's 40. Oh,
that solves it.
He's an incredible business guy, and we chat every day. And
how'd you meet him?
I worked for him.
Oh, you worked for him?
Yeah, out in Seattle.
That's great. And how long you've lived in Cleveland?
Almost 4 years now.
Excellent.
He's doing a lot, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I would say the biggest thing, just for switching into the how did I go from Storybox to the Madison? I think it comes down to that. I'm not afraid to call and ask questions, and that can annoy a lot of people, but it's the only way I really can figure. There's no playbook for anything, obviously. We all know that. But
do you want to hear a funny story about Colima? My friends in Mexico, they give me a restriction on how many questions I can ask because I ask too many questions. Joaquin's just like, oh, we're done here. He's like 10 minutes of silence, and then I have to put the timer on. I'm just sitting there. And we drive. We're driving. The timer goes off. Okay, back to the question. Don't stop that.
Yeah, it's
keep asking.
It's good for, I have to figure out some things. I'm just thinking about all the building regulations we had. I had no clue.
We should have done this at the venue.
Oh my gosh.
It would have been nice.
Would have been cool.
We'll get an update.
Yeah.
When he's really cooking.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like he's cooking right now. How many weddings do you do a year?
There?
No, for you personally.
Storybox.
Yeah, Storybox.
10.
Good for you.
Yeah.
10 weddings. That's all you need to do. One every 5 weeks.
I do 15.
I know, exactly.
And I'll do more. And we do more trips and lots of parties and fam trips. And
so how many Storybox events are you doing a year?
With all the travel?
No, probably 10 days. Just total events.
10.
So 20
to 15,
total?
Yeah.
With all the weddings and
I travel quite a bit for events and parties that are not me filming them.
Excellent.
So he's telling me how he got into the Knot huge party. The knot.com?
Of course.
Because the limo bus is out back there. Yeah. And so, just basically damn near hounding someone to get an invitation about how much money he spent. And then he flies out and goes and it's like.
I rented a tux from Men's Warehouse and I had no idea what I was doing. I had
everybody's there in shorts and
oh no it's black tie, but I had no clue what that meant. And I was like, I guess the last time I got a tux was in high school for prom, and I went to Men's Warehouse. I was wearing these just tube pants because they don't tailor anything. I was wearing this vest. I mean, I looked like I was in high school at a prom.
Paul gets all his clothes from Men's Warehouse.
I rent them all actually.
Well, you're jumping into an industry here which specializes in looking fancy and special events, so everyone has custom everything, and I just felt like, oh my god, I look like.
Do you have a picture from that night?
I do. I can find it.
I do want to see this picture.
I'll see if I can find it.
Dressed as Dumb and Dumber. We should get those outfits, Paul, by the way.
We do need to.
I wanted to have you on as sort of inspiration. We like to have guests on. I find that I need constant inspiration from people who are just doing daring things, right, Paul? Now, I don't know if you would consider yourself incredibly daring. It's a little more well thought out.
I don't know if it's well thought. It's just I always tell people I'm not a risk taker. I'm conservative but very aggressive. So I would never be the guy to start a venue. Now, I would be the guy who goes, I have a barn on my property that does nothing. Let me put it out there. If I get an event, okay, maybe I do more. All of a sudden I get 4 or 5. Okay, this is a business. Let me go do this.
Sure.
That's the kind of guy I am.
I see.
The thought, when he was telling me that, I'm like, man, that's scary. Even I said, I'm like, man, that's scary. He just says, let's go, let's buy his building, $600,000, put 800 into it. Okay, let's see if this works. That's basically what you guys did.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
That's impressive. I look at that going, yeah, that's awesome. And this is why.
But we did ask a lot of questions. It wasn't totally blind.
I'm not saying that it's I'm not.
This is why what?
This is why I talked recently about why guys like him should be allowed to make as much money as possible because he went and took a big risk. So we can't cap that. for him, and we can't then bail him out though if he fails. It's like, listen, that's part of the journey.
Ah,
I was just trying to bring in the whole economic times recently when everybody's being bailed out. I'm like, I don't know about that, but either way, it's 80 events at 10 or 15,000 each. I mean, I gotta think there's a good nut in there because your overhead's pretty. I mean, yes, you have a high fixed cost of rent and utilities, taxes. You probably got a tax break from the county though. No.
No.
Okay. So either way, I mean, like, what's your fixed cost of the rent, utilities, and taxes and insurance every year on the building?
380, 400
a year.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
sounds high.
I'm not saying it sounds high, but it's but
That's-
it's the
that's-
rent
that's-
though. I'm thinking about I keep forgetting it's the rent,
Yeah.
not the mortgage.
And that's with everyone working on average and all of our expenses and trash and whatever, everything.
Oh, that includes employees and all contractors. Noted. Okay, I said taxes. Okay, that's even better then. That's good. Good for you.
Yeah.
They make a pretty good buck there. And Storybox is, I mean, what's your overhead there?
Besides the camera,
Nothing.
it's
Just my contractors when we pay them to come shoot.
That's not even overhead being like the fixed
some
cost.
advertising.
Oh, sorry.
No advertising.
No advertising anymore. No.
Go on.
But
My advertising are the events that I
Yeah,
go to.
yeah.
But
The travel and food per diem you give yourself to go to New York on 3 hours
what would they
notice.
per diem be? So when Cardi B calls you, do you pay for the flight?
it depends per client. Sometimes yes. Sometimes you start to learn what different people want. Because really, we're for the most part, I'm working with event planners. I'm not being contacted for the most part by the clients themselves.
So when they call you, do they say, "Hey, we need you out here"? Is your first words like when they say, "What do you charge?" What do you say?
They don't ask that usually anymore.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you mean?
Because I've worked with these people now.
Oh,
repeat
okay.
clients, so,
I thought I get what you're saying. Okay.
so now it's, hey, are you available for August 1st? Yes.
And they know your pricing?
I'm in the ballpark of, they know who they're asking. So yeah, they have an idea of where I'm at. They're asking me, not somebody else. And they're probably going to be okay in the, in the area that I am.
So
And we might negotiate a couple $1,000s and
Based on what though?
based on how many days, based on how much coverage, based on how many people they want, based on if they want same day edits, the same, the night of, or if how long.
Night of?
We do that a lot.
Night of?
Yeah.
You see, bro?
Night of.
So that's another yes thing that I try to do is I
It's
start.
working with a terabyte of data.
the night, like literally you're like, okay, wedding just ended at 11. I'm going to go get this thing done.
We did one just in New York where they shut down Rockefeller Center, and it was so cool. This is what we're doing now is we're growing out our team. When I was in Thailand, we had this beautiful wedding happening in New York, at Gotham Hall, and our team did a beautiful job. Same night edit. So by the time the ceremony was done, when the reception happened, it was a surprise to the bride from the groom. And so
What was the surprise?
we did a same day
Video.
edit. So there's a 3-minute video that played at the reception of the wedding from that day of all their friends, family getting ready, and them.
Brilliant idea.
We do it too with photos. It slays every time.
People love it.
It slays every time?
Oh,
I imagine
dude.
so.
Or a lot of time what we're doing now is same night edits for the planners and for the couples. They want to be able to show immediately. And so we'll film until 1 a.m. We'll get done and I'll edit for 4 hours, airdrop everything or send it off to everyone. And then the next morning it's posted everywhere. And
This is our wedding
don't sleep.
last night.
Yes.
oh yeah. Or like for the, in Montenegro, we did a week-long wedding. Every night we did a clip.
Week-long wedding?
We're talking welcome parties.
Fuck out of my face.
Welcome parties.
You're gonna have that
rehearsal-
soon, bro.
Welcome parties,
Not gonna
rehearsal
have that.
dinner, the actual wedding, and then a beach party. There's parties in between that they'll have.
We need to sell this in Mexico, bro.
For the weddings?
Yeah.
I know.
You sell the night before, you sell the party, you sell the bar at the end.
I know.
The morning of, mimosas and fuck. The Mexico homes are gorgeous. They should have weddings there.
Well, yeah, I mean the problem is like if a wedding has 40 people, if a wedding has which is a small wedding, I got to get 5 houses that all have different looks and all that stuff. It's just difficult that way.
I see.
But I'm just making excuses. That's pretty impressive though. 10 weddings, 10 other events, and then the venues.
And I do have another company
Oh, company
called
number
Chapter
3.
One Photo. We didn't talk about it yesterday.
Never
That's
heard of it.
because we were getting a lot of, and it's in a work in progress. But we were getting so many inquiries for Storybox for here locally, and I thought I could teach people what I do. So we have a whole nother system. that is all contract based, photo and video, with an editor that knows the style that I like. The shooters know the style that I like, and then so that happens.
What's it called again?
Chapter 1 photo and video. We're in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Detroit right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you like living in Cleveland?
I love it.
You know what's funny? I always tell people, when people come from outside and come in, they're like, oh, I love it. It's because the standard was set so low. The bar was set so low.
Everyone here, when we told we were moving, they said, why?
Yeah.
I was like, guys, they're just why
I once had a guy call me from fucking North Dakota and said, yeah, so I'm moving to Cleveland. I'm like, oh, great. He's like, what is that, like fucking Siberia? I'm like, you're in North Dakota. Like, what are you talking about? And I always tell people when they come here, they're like, oh, this is pretty nice. I'm like, yeah. It's not like, Chicago or Seattle.
Right.
I mean, but still, at the same point,
But you're coming from a city like that. Where the first day we got here, we drove right down to the Browns stadium, and there was no traffic.
Yeah.
Like, what? And so
plus, how much does the house cost in Seattle versus here?
Oh, it's crazy. Oh my gosh.
How much would your venue cost in Seattle?
A lot more. Tons more. Millions more.
Millions more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking $5 million easily. Easily.
I didn't know you were in Seattle.
5 months or something like that, from October, November of 89 to like March of 90.
Housing out there is crazy.
Pardon me?
Housing.
Oh, in Seattle? It's nuts.
I don't plan on going anytime soon.
So yeah, you come
Seattle's
here and it's amazing.
though.
There's no traffic, and the cost of living is lower, and there's an amazing
standard
food
of living is
scene.
lower too.
What?
He about said the standard of living is
standard.
No,
lower.
the standard is living. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the standard of living there. You're right. The food is actually a lot better here than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
And guess what? The weather's actually better here than Seattle.
I find it pretty similar. I mean, I don't mind the
When
snow.
I say the weather, I mean like sunny days. Like we have more sunny. It's like the only city in the world we have more sunny days than Seattle.
How funny.
Yeah.
And then what else?
And by
I
the way,
mean,
Seattle is awesome. Seattle's a phenomenal city.
Yeah.
So, Chris, we should have you on in the future. We'd love to go to the venue, check it out.
I just want to check it out just to check it out. I don't care if we record there. I just want to.
I'm sure Paul will have we'll do lunch on Paul. And Paul will love to see it and maybe have an event there. In
maybe my 40th birthday, we'll do it there.
Not in your house?
I keep going back and forth on that. I don't know. But last time we did my 30th at my house, a lot of people, 175, it got freaking hot, and the cleaning and all that stuff is just like, eh.
Ah, I see. It might be too big for how many people you want to have on your 40th. Is this next?
Like 30.
This is next year?
Yeah, next year.
Only 30 people?
I'm just kidding. I keep going back and forth if I want to party because I'm just like, I don't even want to.
Oh, wait, I'll film it.
Oh,
I'll send you the bill.
Yeah, I was like, my budget's not
you
there.
see, he's always
doing it. I
always
love
doing it. All right. How can people find both of your companies or all three?
Storyboxcinema.com, and on social, themadisonvenue.com, and the Madison Venue on social, and then chapter1photoandvideo.com, and chapter1photo and video on Instagram.
Now, about that last company, it's direct competition for my company, so we'll just have to edit that out, Rohan, that last bit. Just cut that last company from the books, stricken it from the record. Okay. Thanks for joining us and coming down.
Yeah, man.
Putting your life on the line.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Whoops. Okay.
When we're in the studio, it feels like nothing's going on out there.
Subscribe below. Paul, your videos on the financials of. Are you yawning on your own?
No, I was
show?
like going to bite the thing.
Oh, great. That's how we keep the place real clean. Your financial videos, some of the videos before this podcast, Paul does the financials on the hot topics of Tesla, amazing stocks that you're looking to buy in the near future. And those videos are getting a lot more traction. So check them out, like and subscribe, comment. And Chris, thanks for coming in. It's great having you.
Thank you.
See you, Paul. Love you.
It was wonderful. Thank you, Chris.